YouTube? This is Tyre Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. Almost kind of feels like Monday because I was out of work yesterday. But enough about that. Got plenty to talk about today as well. For starters, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather that's ongoing right now. And it also has a multitude of severe thunderstorm watches and warnings, including a current tornado warning, which, if I remember correctly, I have to take a look at the details again. I'm sorry. But if I remember correctly, this warning slated to expire. Yeah, well, I was right, 7:15 Central. But anyway, we also have a hurricane forecast that was just released by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, or NOAA as we call it in the weather community. But anyway, let's get into all of it right here. All right, start with the severe weather real quick. We're mainly just looking at today because the next couple of days are marginal risk and they weren't looking too impressive from what I last saw. Part of this is due to this storm system that's ongoing right now in Texas. It's going to lose a little bit of steam. There may be an area of interest that pops up and becomes a slight risk, but a little bit doubtful at the moment. We'll mainly just focus on tonight's weather, and then we'll take a look at what we have going on the next couple of days. This is also going to potentially be amplified by the Gulf moisture flow that we've had going on around the southeast as of late. It's been really muggy around the south, really humid, but also really warm. So it may create a more suitable environment for stronger thunderstorms. Do I think it'll turn into anything magnanimous? At the moment, no, but these things can change very quickly. That being said, our enhanced risk for tonight, and this was upgraded this afternoon while I was at work. This is really stretched out too. This even goes as far west as eastern New Mexico now. That's impressive. This slight risk even goes all the way out to the western edges of Louisiana and Arkansas and stretches into southern parts of Oklahoma as well. That's kind of crazy. But now we have an enhanced risk that includes Abilene, Waco, and Fort Worth as well. And this area also has a 5% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given point. So this will have to be watched real close. And then within the rest of the slight and marginal risk areas around here, all the way up towards the Arkansas-Mississippi line, towards the end of the Ozarks, there is also a 2% chance of tornadoes. Then for the rest of the areas, we have in the enhanced risk a 30% chance of damaging straight line winds above 50 knots or 60 miles an hour. And that area stretches all the way out through our severe weather areas of interest. These storms around the southeast are expected to pop up later tonight unless you're in areas like Columbus. They have already gone through. Like I said, Gulf of Mexico is open, moisture's flowing in at a vicious pace, and it's warm. And there's no real ridge or anything to stop anything from forming. I also have a very big heavy rain concern for areas around here particularly, but we'll get into that in a later video. We'll also take a look at the hail threat. The hail threat stretches a little further out to the east, up to the Alabama-Georgia line, but of course our most significant hail threat is going to be in our slight and enhanced risk area. Seemingly, it looks as if just east of Midland and into Abilene is our greatest hail threat, including the threat for significant hail greater than 2 inches in diameter. So let's get into the HRRR here. We'll look at the low-level jet here, see when that tornado threat is increasing throughout the night, and then we'll take a look at what the radar will look like. Then we'll start talking about some more tropical activity. There's no models to show, but I'm just talking about what we've heard from NOAA today. So onward to the low-level jet. And over the next couple hours, we're expecting a little spike here. And we do have a area where we're getting towards 60, even some 70. There might even be a 65 in there. 65 knots. Sufficient tornado fuel there. So we'll have to be pretty watchful of this. I think this will also be on the backside of the storm. Let's see if we can go back a couple hours here. This is an area of interest right here, I'm sure. No? Huh, that's weird. Maybe the HRRR isn't picking up on anything. Maybe there's a new model out. Actually, let's take a look at that. This one just got started. You gotta love the timing. You gotta love my timing sometimes, right? I always come in when the bad models are in. Or I'm just not reading them right, one or the other. Okay, so we're trying to find some kind of sounding here. But I'm kind of confused as to why I'm not able to pick up on anything. This is right around the enhanced risk area. I'm just kind of drawing a blank here. It's kind of frustrating. Okay, let's see what this has to offer. If this has nothing, then we won't worry about the sounding. This seems like I've picked up on a pretty bad run here as far as the low-level jet's concerned. Maybe we should start looking at other models like the Euro in the future. But even then, there's a little something popping up here into late evening and overnight hours, so we'll have to watch that threat pretty close. I think in the next couple hours, the tornado threat will ramp up a little bit more, but even then, it's not that high. I don't expect big numbers, but even then, it only takes one, and I always want to try to keep you guys ahead of that. That being said, we'll go ahead and look and see what this low-level jet does tomorrow, and there is a pretty formidably sized area that pops up. And you can also see, based off these wind barbs, where that Gulf of Mexico moisture is moving. It's moving straight north. So just the entire southeast past anywhere east of the Ozarks, it's going to be getting a boatload of rain over the next few days. And if you happen to be in this area, I would be watching the weather a little bit more closely once you get into the afternoon hours. I do think there is potential for that margin risk to go up to a slight risk, but time will only tell. The morning outlook that they'll post at about maybe 6 a.m. or maybe even earlier than that, about 3 to 6, somewhere between 3 and 6. They usually make a lot of changes then. We'll see what happens with that. All right, onward to the reflectivity. Now, considering how the low-level jet map looked, I'm not too sure. Oh wow, okay. I thought I had this in loop mode. I guess it didn't. So wacky start to the video. It's all right, but based off the low-level jet map that I had, I'm not very optimistic as to how this is going to look. We're not going to worry about any soundings, but we are looking into the evening hours. I'd say this is about 9-10 o'clock. These storms are really starting to roll in, and then into the overnight hours, that's when our line is expected to go through. And there's our little low pressure here, spinning up around the Central Plains. I have to watch that real close. Definitely a predominant damaging wind threat tomorrow. I mean, you can clearly see the line of storms, but you also see a little bit of convection out ahead of it. It's kind of interesting. The dynamics aren't very impressive, though, from what I had seen. Temperatures are going to be sufficient. Dew points are definitely going to be up. But I'm not sold on any sort of major severe weather outbreak at all. Which is a good thing, to be honest, because we've had our fair share in the southeast this year. All right, so now that we've looked at this, let's talk about the hurricane forecast from Noaa here. So this is pretty much in line with what I had shown with the Colorado State forecast that earlier in my hurricane outlook video. I will drop that at the end of the I will drop a link to that at the end of the video, excuse me. But they were saying somewhere around 15 to 17 storms. That's right in the ballpark for Noah as well. They have 14 to 21 named storms. I think if I remember correctly, I saw about 7 or 8 on about 8 or 9 storms reaching hurricane status on Colorado State, and Noah has 6 to 10, and then I saw 3 or 4 major hurricanes on Colorado State, and we have 3 to 6 on Noah. So all of this is pretty much above normal, and then the probability of it being above normal is above 50% on the Colorado State forecast, and of course Noah's right in line with that. If anything, odds are we're going to have a above normal season. Just all the signs, even before these forecasts came out, kind of pointed to it. The Gulf of Mexico never really the Gulf of Mexico waters never really cooled off. So I didn't see any reason as to why we wouldn't have another season. It's really going to depend heavily on the westerlies, and that's a bunch of high level winds and stuff. Like I said, give me 10 likes on the video. I will do all sorts of crazy tutorials about all these different terms and what they mean, and so on and so forth. But anyone that's in a hurricane prone area towards the coast or in an evacuation route, definitely I would really honestly start preparing now, because it also seems like there's a trend where a lot of these storms are going to be forming close to home this year. Now, I can't guarantee that every storm will. I can't guarantee that all of them will make landfall and where they will make landfall. But if you're in a evacuation route, near an evacuation route, if you're in an area that's prone to tropical systems, I would just say prepare now, because you don't want to get caught off guard. So far, I'm honestly surprised that we haven't had an early storm like we've had in the last few years, but I'm not complaining. But I know that things will not stay peaceful for too much longer. I get the feeling, especially based off of what I saw in the last video. If that holds true, then that could be trouble. But we'll just have to wait and see. Now, bet you're all wondering, what do we have going on in the tropics right now? Is there anything immediately coming? Nothing like actually something concrete? No, not within the next 5 days, thankfully. I showed you the model runs that I had yesterday from the ensembles of the GFS and the European, and they do show something popping up, but that's over 7 days out. It's very hard to rely on that kind of data. I mean, I thought it would be interesting to show you guys, but at the moment there are no disturbances in the Gulf, or not in the Gulf, but in the Atlantic Basin right now. We'll have to watch this area towards the Pacific, but well, actually, let's take a quick look. Yep, there it is. There it is right there. We'll have to watch that one, because a couple of models will have this run across Mexico and then come into the Gulf. So that one's going to be interesting. This storm right here, I expect this one to travel out to sea and dissipate. This is going to be what you call a fish storm. Doesn't affect anyone unless you're out in the ocean. But we'll take one quick look at the Central Pacific, and nope, nothing there. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. Video was a little bit all over the place, but I'll have a little bit better grasp of things tomorrow. It's been a long day. But until tomorrow's video, this has been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Spread the word about the channel. Goal is to get to at least 50 subs by the end of the year. And remember, if you get a video up to 10 likes, then I will start doing more in-depth content. But until then, you guys have a good night.